Silas O'Quidley did not walk into a room. He arrived. People whispered his name the way villagers whisper about thunder before rain. His watches were gold. His cars were loud. His security men moved like soldiers who owed him their heartbeat. On Instagram, he was the man every young boy wanted to become and every young girl wanted to sit beside. But nobody really knew where his money came from. Some said oil deals. Others said importation. Behind the tall gates of his mansion in Lekki Phase 1, Silas ran an empire built on forged documents, secret smuggling, and deals darker than anyone dared imagine. Girls were promised jobs abroad. They vanished. Some never returned. Some died on ships or in rooms that smelled of fear. Their fates brought him millions. Their lives were invisible to the world. Invisible to him. Until one body surfaced. It was one of the girls, washed ashore near the creeks outside the city. Her small face, still youthful, carried the salt and silence of death. Newspapers wrote brief lines about a migrant who drowned. Nobody mentioned Silas. Nobody would. But for the first time, the empire he had built on their broken lives began to tremble. He lived like a king. Until the night everything cracked. It began with a sound he had never heard before. A soft knock on the gate at midnight. 3 times. Slow. Heavy. Almost deliberate. Silas froze. It was not the knock of a visitor. It was the knock of something that remembered him. His guards ran to check, but when they opened the gate, no one was there. Only the wind, cold and restless, blowing across the compound as if it carried a warning. Silas felt his skin prickle. Because he knew. The past had finally found him. Silas did not hear footsteps that night. He did not see shadows that moved unnaturally. What he feared was the truth. The truth the dead body revealed. The body that screamed in silence across the pages, in the whispers of the wind, and in the quiet fear of those who once called him friend. Behind the tall mirrors of his mansion, behind the loud laughter and the golden brand, Silas hid a truth darker than a closed coffin. He was not just a smuggler. He was not just a fraudster. He was the silent owner of a network that supplied girls to foreign syndicates. Girls who were promised jobs abroad. Girls who never returned. Girls who became voices that cried at night in places nobody ever checks. Some were taken from villages. Some from bus stops. Some from homes where poverty spoke louder than tomorrow. Silas never saw their faces. But he saw the money. And the money saw him back. The truth was this: Silas did not rise through business. He rose through broken destinies. He worked with men who owned dark rooms in foreign cities. Rooms with thick doors and iron locks. Rooms where no one laughed. Rooms where girls prayed for morning but morning never came. Those men paid Silas because he delivered. And every time he transferred a girl, he added another stone to the grave he was digging for himself. It was one of those girls who returned. But not alive. She died on a ship headed to Libya. No document. No identity. No escape. And since the night her body was found floating near the shore, the people who cleaned that part of the ocean claimed something began to move there. Something like a shadow. Something like a voice. Silas did not believe in spirits. Until he started hearing footsteps in his mansion. Footsteps that did not belong to anyone alive. They came every night. Dragging. Slow. Searching. He told himself it was stress. But he could not explain why the footsteps always stopped at his bedroom door. On the night of the knock, the footsteps returned. Louder. Closer. Silas grabbed his gun. But the air in the room suddenly became heavy. Cold. Breathless. His lights flickered. Then went off completely. In the darkness, he heard a whisper. A whisper no living mouth could produce. A whisper wet with the salt of distant waters. Silas. The sound of a girl who had drowned. A voice that did not carry air. Only sorrow. Silas staggered back, trembling. The whisper came again. Return what you took. Then the scream came. A scream that shattered every bulb in the room. A scream filled with every girl Silas had ever sent away. A scream that carried pain strong enough to bend metal. His guards rushed in but found him on the floor, shaking and gasping like someone who had seen his own shadow rise against him. That was the night his empire began to collapse. Partners disappeared. Agents betrayed him. One survivor told her story. The world turned. The authorities moved in. Yet Silas feared none of them. He feared the footsteps. The whispers. The scream that now came every night. Because the truth was simple. Silas was not being hunted by the dead. He was being hunted by the truth the dead body revealed. And the dead never missed their mark.